Hello?
I called it!
Indeed you did, my friend. Hello, and welcome to, RWBY Discussions. I don't know how to intro these things. Doesn't matter. I am the Max. If you trades with me, as always, is your only mate.
Yay, I'm here too.
He is here too, and he called it. As did I, and most people. At least, you know, sensible people.
Yeah, and you weren't wrong about something all along.
We'll get into that. I'm not entirely 100% sure about that quite yet, but the fact of the matter is, Cinder ain't dead.
Nope, she's not.
And anybody who thought she was is not very bright.
Yep. I remember speaking to someone at a convention that tried to convince me she was dead.
Why would you think that?
I don't know. But I still remember having this discussion with someone.
Absolutely disgraceful.
Okay.
So I guess we'll just jump straight into the episode then, seeing as how we kind of technically did.
Yep. Oh, although I should say that I called it thing wasn't in terms of like Cinder being alive. It was about the hooded person. Ah,
yeah. Well, I mean, that being Cinder.
Yeah. In the last video, I brought it up.
Yeah. I know, but still. It's all related. But anyway.
Anyway, so jumping into the episode.
I figured out that I didn't realize at the time. It's like, I thought, why does she have skeleton hand? She doesn't. She just wrapped up her grim hand, so it doesn't look like it's a grim hand.
Yeah.
Kind of disappointing. I was hoping for a skeleton hand, but whatever. Point is, Cinder wakes up and she's in the water and she's all covered in ice crystals and stuff. Flavor crystals, you might say. And she wakes up and she's like, "Dang, I just got my ass kicked," which makes it even weirder that Ozpin lost to her. Because
or it just shows that Raven's just that powerful. Apparently,
it's possible. I'm just saying, for somebody who apparently killed one of the most powerful characters that's supposedly in the series, she sure does get beat up a lot. I'm just saying, this is technically the third time.
I guess. Although also Raven has had, well, I want to say more experience with the Maiden powers, but then again, Cinder had like half of it for a while.
That's true. Still. And I guess it's implied she got weaker because of the silver-eyed thing. Hopefully we'll get answers about what that's all about.
Especially with what's coming later.
Exactly. Now here's the thing. Cinder, I gotta give her at least a little bit of credit. It's confusing how she's not dead. You'd think she would have suffocated or something, because she apparently was unconscious down there. And then she crawled her way out, and then she decided to punch her way out of a cavern?
Yeah.
So,
like,
I'm not even gonna lie, that's impressive.
And, yeah, it created like a crack in the rock wall.
So, I mean, that's just an impressive thing to do, so I'll give her credit for that one.
Plus, and that means Raven's pretty strong in the, their fight.
Yeah, absolutely. So she manages to get out of the cave, and everything's all hunky-dory, but then she falls over again, so I guess she's not hunky-dory.
Funny thing is, when I was reacting to the episode, I was like, "Damn, Cinder, you're tough," and then she fell.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as they said that.
And then she makes the thud. And then a nice lady shows up and is like, "Yo, are you okay?" And then it turns out, oh wait, no, Cinder is evil person, and that spooks her, as it should. And then that lady gets murdered, because Cinder is the worst.
Yeah, this woman just sees, like, "Oh my god, someone hurt. Hey, are you okay? Oh my god, I'm dead now."
Yeah, that's just not cool. She got her... and you want to know the worst part about this? I don't know how she was killed, but the fact remains, because Cinder took her clothing, she's just kind of dead and naked in a ditch.
Unless Cinder did what she did to Pyrrha.
It's possible, but, I mean, even then, she would have had to have taken the clothes off, because then they would have gotten incinerated too.
Oh yeah, she stripped the woman and then did that.
No matter what angle you look at this, it's exponentially creepier and more messed up. And robbed her.
Oh yeah.
Because, Cinder is the worst. She may not be dead, but I never said that I wanted her to be alive. I just knew she wasn't dead yet. She was too important.
Yep.
Although, at least everyone thinks she is, I guess.
Wait, everyone thinks she is what?
Is dead. I mean, maybe not the main characters, but, like, her entourage.
Oh, yeah, like...
Like, Emerald's pretty convinced.
Yeah.
So,
although Yang has, like, no idea. She just went down to the vault. Well, actually, no, the heroes have no idea. Yang went into the vault. And
she went into the vault and she wasn't
gone.
there. Yeah, she was just gone, so... I don't know. Maybe she's dead. Maybe she just ran away. Who the hell even knows?
Maybe Raven opened the portal up and just kicked her through it.
Who knows? Nobody knows. Not I. That's for certain.
I just realized that is something that Raven could have totally done.
Yeah, it is. It actually is. Although at the same time, she can only make portals to people, so if she kicks somebody through a portal, it just like... she'd just be basically airdropping, like, here, have a cinder to, I guess, either Yang or Tai or Crow.
Yeah.
Surprise! It's like, that doesn't seem like a good call.
No, it does not.
Alright, so then we go to our intrepid heroes and the like. And Weiss is not happy about things, as she shouldn't be, because she took it. It was not easy, and she got kidnapped and bloated up just to get out of that dang place, and now she has to go back.
Yeah, but...
And none of her friends are sensitive about the issue. They're just like, oh, well, I mean, we have the Schneers. They'll probably just let us in and give us reward money. Yuck, 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 yuck. And then Weiss is all like, I was abused.
Okay.
She didn't say that, but she was.
On one hand, that is kind of a messed up idea for Blake and Yang to both have.
Yeah, it very much is. They are completely being dismissive. It's not funny.
But at the same time, it was kind of funny.
I don't care if it was kind of funny. It was still messed up. Not nice.
We need that guy from American Dad showing up going, he's kind of funny.
Don't you lie to me. Anyway, so they gotta go to a place before they can go to the place. And of course, as we know, that does not go well. But at least Nora is happy.
Yeah, and we find out one thing about the relic. It can grow and shrink.
Which is interesting.
Makes it easier on animation, too.
That is true. Also, it grants wishes, but only if those wishes are getting information, and only if that information is something that happened in the past and not the future. So, a lot of stipulations there.
Yeah. I still love Nora asking all this stuff about it, and one of them is, can we ask it for more questions?
Yeah, Nora's pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean, she's comedic relief indeed, but she's good at her job.
Mm-hmm.
Also, props to whoever animates Blake's ears.
Yeah, I noticed that about this volume.
I like the kitty ears.
Yeah.
They're very good. Anyway, so it's like, hey, maybe you should stop trying to hide stuff from us, Ozpin. And he's like, I'm not hiding stuff from you. And we know that's a lie. Anyway, smash cut! And now we're back onto the, the snow and the crashed, train thingy. And I think Ruby is, like, picking up dust cartridges?
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. They might need that.
I know, but it's just, I'm like, I don't know, maybe that was, like, Weiss's luggage or something? I don't know, because I guess I don't know how much Ruby herself actually carries. She has to carry some, she shoots it out of her gun, so it's possible it's hers.
And Blake probably carries some as well, because she uses it in her weapon too.
Not as often as the others, though.
Still.
Although, if she should, because it makes her way more OP, but whatever. And Yang finds a dang motorcycle, and she's just trying to... she's struggling to get it out of the snow. Yang, actually a weakling confirmed?
I think that's just for a joke.
Confirmed?
No.
It's all a ruse, or perhaps maybe Grimm and robots don't weigh much. Less than a motorcycle. It makes sense.
Anyway, we also find out the name of this old lady. It's Maria, and suddenly Shadow the Hedgehog showed up going, Maria! Oh wait, wrong with Maria, sorry, and just ran off.
Yeah, he does that sometimes.
And then everyone's just like, huh, that was weird.
Get out of here, you old lady. And she's all like, nah. And then they're like, well, dang, now we just have old lady with us. I'm sure she won't be incredibly useful or story relevant at any point in the future.
Probably not.
She's just dead weight, nothing else, and she's not even going to be a thing.
I've heard something about her. Apparently her last name translates to Scald.
Wait, Scald? Wait, Scald? You have an accent, so when you say that, are you talking about being burnt with water or by disciplining?
Skull, like the bone.
Oh.
The human skull sort of thing.
The skull. The human skull. Askew. You don't want to get your, you don't want to get your skull skulled. You might get skulled if you skull your skull. That's you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Sorry. Anyway, everyone's pretty upset about everything that's going on, as you should.
I've got more about Maria.
Oh, please go ahead.
I heard some speculation of some people saying that she might represent the big bad wolf from Little Red Riding Hood because, you know, the big eyes.
Oh, what big eyes you have.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's true. We don't even know how that thing is staying on her head. Do you think it's, like, physically attached to her, or she could, like, take it off? I assume she could take it off. I mean, because it needs to be, like, repaired, but, like...
Yeah.
She's also deaf and blind, and... Oh, she's just an old lady. She's so useless.
And then she's about to find out a whole bunch of stuff from just being around them.
It's really kind of funny just how much information somebody can become privy to just by spending about 5 minutes with this group. Unintentionally is like... I mean, she's obviously going to be story important and, like, play a role, and she probably knows more than we think she knows already.
Yeah, because
but just imagine if she really was just some random old lady. It's like, I'm learning a lot right now.
Like, I was speculating about this with a friend. What if she's, like, a relative of Ruby, which goes into the whole, like, Silver-Eyed Warrior thing? Maybe this is Ruby's long-lost grandmother or something?
I mean, it's not impossible. I don't see that happening specifically, because I don't think it's, like, a genetic trait of Ruby's family line.
I mean, Summer had it.
I know Summer had it, but... does that mean that Ruby's grandma had it, and that her grandma's had it, and then that grandma also had it? It doesn't add up.
Well, we don't know yet, do we?
You win this round.
Although, apparently some people have speculated she's, like, the Winter Maiden. I don't really see that, because
I mean, it's possible.
Wouldn't Crow and Ozpin already know she's the Winter Maiden?
I don't know.
It also depends on how long she's been the Winter Maiden for.
That's also possible. They might not know. They didn't seem to dispute the idea of, okay, well, Crow had to know about Raven, but they didn't, neither of them really spoke up as like, Vernal ain't no maiden, what? Because that would have completely destroyed Raven's plan. I wonder how things would have gone if they just said, who the hell's that?
No, that's something I'm thinking about as well, like, when exactly did Raven, like, kill the previous Spring Maiden and become the new one?
That's true.
Because we know only young girls can become the maidens.
That's true. And Raven is hella old.
Well, old enough to have a daughter.
A daughter who's at least 18. Which, I mean, I guess genetically that could happen, like, as early as 13, but I don't think the show's gonna go that route.
No, I doubt it.
So, let's just, I don't know, let's lowball it and say that she was 18 when she had Yang. I say that's probably still way too young, and probably isn't it, but let's just assume that it is. Which would make her, at minimum, 36, which feels like that's too low of a number. I feel like she has to be in her 40s. I mean, just because characters aren't drawn like old people very well in this show doesn't make them not old.
Aside from Maria, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's ancient. You can tell, like, that lady is, like, gotta be in her 70s or something.
Yeah, that would mean if she is the Winter Maiden, she would have had to become the Winter Maiden, like, decades ago.
So, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, I'm just gonna say it doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, too. Like, I could see it maybe, but I'm putting it on the unlikely side.
Look, I just want one of the RWBY girls to become a maiden already.
I mean, Yang's practically guaranteed to become the next Spring Maiden.
She has to. Oh, sorry. I just belched. That's disgusting. Apologies. But she has to.
And
like, are we seriously going to try? Are we seriously going to come up to all of the peoples on the internets, to like the 121 people that watch this particular video, and say, Raven is totally not going to end up dying protecting Yang from something, and therefore Yang is the last person she's thinking about, therefore she gets the powers. Are you going to try and tell everybody? Or are we going to try and tell everybody that that's not going to happen? I don't think so.
Though I was talking to a friend about this whole Team RWBY becoming the next Maiden thing just earlier.
But I want them.
Like, what would be better? They just get given the powers, or they, power up their own semblances, their powers, abilities, all that stuff, and they wind up surpassing the maidens themselves.
The new maidens. Maiden 2.0.
Maybe, though. I mean,
it would be baller.
If they become powerful enough to surpass the maidens, what if they then have to defeat the maidens to then earn the maiden powers?
I mean, that's totally feasible. I mean, look, if Yang's gonna punch her own dang mom's head off, I'm okay with that.
What if Raven dies protecting Yang, but the person that kills Raven becomes the Spring Maiden?
Well, that'd be a bummer, because then Yang would have to punch their head off. I feel like Yang could probably punch someone's head off.
Probably, yes.
I just feel like that's a thing she could probably do. Anyway,
I got a list of people I'd like to see her do that to.
I know, buddy, I know. And I guess, I mean...
Although, it's just massive, text with, one name.
I know. You don't gotta go into that. He's not in this episode.
Good.
I know. Anywho... as much as, I don't know, it's weird. It's like, it seems like, oh, the four maidens of history, it seems obvious, and, of course, Team RWBY is going to become them. But then it's like, well, are they going to try and subvert our expectations by having them not become them? What exactly are we flipping getting to here?
I'm still wondering, can one person inherit more than one maiden powers at a time?
Well,
although I think with what Cinder tried to do, then that implies that, yeah, that can happen.
And I feel like, I guess that was probably... I don't know if that was just an idea Cinder had out of nowhere, or if that's part of Salem's plan to make Cinder, the Omni Maiden or something, but... the Infinity Maiden, but that sure seems to be... At the very least, Cinder thought she could. So
I wouldn't put it past someone to try it.
Yeah, so it's totally possible. Of course, then would just be merging all the powers, and then all the powers just go to RWBY, and she becomes the new god. Who knows? Life is weird.
Yeah,
anyway.
So either all of Team RWBY become one each, or RWBY becomes all four at once.
I mean, it's possible. On top of Silver Eyes, she could become, super OP.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have anything against. I just, considering the whole theme of the show is teamwork and the friendship of the four girls, I mean, give them something, right?
Yeah. Though, there's a little something else I was talking to my friend about, because we know that semblances can, evolve and be upgraded, so the common idea is, RWBY's gonna go light speed.
Or, well, I mean, she's already... Correct me if I'm wrong, but... She wasn't able to split herself into 3 smaller tornadoes in the earlier seasons, right?
No, but a friend of mine calced how fast she must have been running in Volume 2 during the food fight.
And I know, she's very.
Yeah.
So let's just... Look, that's why they had to get...
Mark 600, something like that.
Yeah, so here's the thing. That's why they had to get rid of Jean so early, so that they couldn't, just spoil what super enhanced, semblances the other 3 would have, I'm not, and in fact, I'm not entirely 100% sure what Weiss's enhancedness was quite like. I guess she was able to summon something way faster, maybe?
Maybe.
But she was also straight up, flying. I mean, she was hovering off the ground with, a little wind turbine underneath her. So I'm just kind of left wondering...
I'm still wondering what
did that
Blake
do?
is gonna be. It'll probably be something like the Shadow Clones can, move and fight.
Look, if y'all gonna try... If y'all gonna try and tell me that superpowered Blake isn't gonna have the Shadow Clone... not gonna have the Shadow Clone Jutsu, you're a liar.
I mean, she's already got the Getsuga Tensho from Ichigo to some extent.
Exactly. Look.
Oh my god. Blake is Naruto and Ichigo's love child, confirmed.
That's disgusting, but also maybe. Secondly, it doesn't even make sense. They don't have the... She has black hair. Neither of them do. That's crazy. You're an insane person. You're a madman, but I love it. Okay. So here's the thing. Totally gonna have that Shadow Clone stuff. She's gonna have like an army of Blakes fight something at some point. It's gonna be hella baller. But we've gone down an extraordinarily deep, divergent path here. We should probably get back to the episode.
Yeah, but before we do, Yang's, like, it's pretty obviously insanely strong.
Yeah, obviously. I don't know. Maybe the ability to just get stronger without having to get beaten up first? It's possible.
Like, she just becomes like a full-on Super Saiyan.
And at this point, you know, I just realized Nora kind of has a not as good and much more situational version of Yang's semblance.
Yeah, I think we've spoken about this before.
I know, but that's just not fair.
So basically, if those two were to like fully fight each other, Yang's more likely gonna win.
Yeah, probably, but like you'd think Nora would carry a lot of like lightning dust around or something. I mean, apparently if she can just electrocute herself to the, well, shock herself. Electrocuted implies that she died via electrocution, and that's not how that works. But the point is, like, if she's immune to electricity, then that certainly seems to be the case. Then she could, like, I don't know, just freaking eat the dust crystals. Nom nom nom.
Oh god, I kind of want to see that now. She just puts one in her mouth, bites down, and it's so hard it shatters, and then she becomes overpowered.
I mean, I have seen nothing to support the idea that she couldn't do that. I mean, Hazel can apparently just jab them into his damn arms, so... If you're immune to whatever element it is, why not?
Yeah, why not?
There was that one comic I saw where Yang ate some fire dust and could breathe fire, and that was cool.
Wow.
I imagine that wouldn't go as well for her because she's not immune to fire. At least I don't think she is. I mean, I know her thing is I burn, and she has the fiery aura and stuff, but I don't think we have definitive evidence to support the idea that she's immune to fire.
Wait, has she actually been hit by fire attacks?
Not that I'm entirely aware of. We have just as much reason to believe that Yang is immune to fire as Weiss is immune to ice. In that we don't have much.
Yeah, good point.
It just sounds like something that would probably be the case. Questions. We have lots of them.
Yeah.
This is the most scatterbrained freaking podcast thingy ever. Anyway.
Like, why did Ozpin keep the thing about the relic a secret? Oh wait, he explains that.
He does, and that's a great way to transition into the thing, because Yang and Weiss especially are really quite upset about all of this. It's like, why you keep hiding stuff from us?
I mean, wouldn't you?
No, absolutely. They've been dealing with a lot of this stuff, and they've been told that they weren't going to be lied to or have secrets kept from them for a long time, and like multiple times now, and every time something else comes out. But then Ozpin gets really cranky about this entire situation, and he's like, you think that Lion Man was the only guy to ever be a betrayer?
Yeah. Actually, we should mention, like, the reason they didn't know about the whole thing with the relic was because Ozpin thought, if I tell them, it could make them more anxious, and that could also increase the risk of bringing Grimm.
Because here's the thing.
So maybe it's a good idea to, you know, keep hush-hush about that.
Yeah, and it's the exact same thing with why they kept, you know, Lionheart's story kind of under wraps, too. It's a really... we briefly touched upon it last time, but I like it because the thing is, yeah, it is an excuse, and from a lot of perspectives, it's annoying how much of an excuse it is to be withholding information from people. But at the same time, it's a good excuse.
Yeah.
Like, we're already Grimm magnets. I don't want to try and make, like, my teammates, you know, all scared or pissed off or anything. He's trying. So that's why, that's why, despite the fact that I can totally understand and empathize and even side with, you know, Team RWBY on this, I can't just completely turn on Ozpin either.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I can see where both are coming from, and kind of like...
Which is the best kind of conflict.
I do agree with both.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the best kind of conflict, when both sides have a point. And again, when he brings up the fact that, you know, is like, you know, Lionheart wasn't the first person to betray him, and it's not like he's trying to say that he expects them to do it too, but he didn't expect a lot of people to betray him that ultimately did. And it ended up being a very bad thing. So he's trying to tell as much as he possibly can, but still keeping some of the information a secret so that it can't be used against him. And again, it's still an excuse, and it's still kind of a jerk move, but I still understand, and it makes sense, from his point of view, at least.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I gotta give props to that much, at least. Although I do really like the line from Weiss. I was like, I'm really tired of people telling me what's good for me. Because, yeah, that happens a lot. But, of course, things just keep getting more and more anxious and more confrontational. And this is like the first time Ozpin's really gotten, I don't know, I'm gonna call it upset. Sure seems like it.
I mean,
if he's not upset, if he's not upset now, he's upset later. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's like, yo, where's the relic? And Ruby's like, I have the relic. And he's like, okay, give me the relic. And Ruby's like, I don't know if I should give you this relic. And Ozpin's all like, girl!
He's like, no, find us keepers.
Yeah. He's like, no, it's mine now. I want it. And then Ozpin's like, girl, do not make me. You're about to catch these hands.
And then all of a sudden he starts shaking. Ozka's trying to...
Well, hang on. I want to point out, I really enjoy Yang, Weiss, and Blake's immediate response of, protect her!
Yeah, I do too.
Like, because here's the thing, and it just goes to show how good their bond is, because, okay, well, first of all, Crow is actually not completely in the know, at least not as much as we thought he was. As in, stuff is still being kept from him, too. And he was actually going to side with them, but for a split second, they thought that he was going to try and stop them. And, like, even Yang was like, I ain't gonna let you stop Ruby. Which I think really states just how much that the four of them care about each other.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like, yeah, okay, you're my uncle, and, you know, you're great and awesome and everything, la 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 la, but if you do anything to even consider possibly harming Ruby in any capacity, even in an incapacitative way, I'm gonna mess you up. So, it's dark, and it's unfortunate, but it is a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they try to keep everything under wraps, but then Oscar, and which really makes me try to think just how exactly this whole jumping from person to person type dealy-bob, like, really works. Like, didn't Ozpin say, like, eventually his consciousness will sort of fade away over time and it'll just be Oscar? Or they'll fuse together?
Yeah, I think it's like eventually they'll, like, merge into one consciousness at some point.
Yeah. We don't know
which really makes me feel bad for Oscar.
Yeah, I was like, I did not ask for any of this. I was just farm man.
But neither did any of the other people that...
Yeah, that's true, including whoever the hell Ozpin was before, I guess, this weird collective consciousness went to him? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna be getting more answers very soon, so I guess I can't complain too much. Either way, the fact of the matter is, Oscar is like, no, I know stuff, he's hiding things. Here's the deal about the relic. There's a genie in it! Say her name.
Name Jin.
And then Ruby does, he's like, what? It was like, what? And then it's like, okay, Jin. And then
Jin from Tekken shows up.
Well, that would have been weird. Well, I mean, they were both in he was recently in the Maiden Chamber, so I don't know.
True.
Anyway, but
and it's possible Yang did see him down there and think, oh, screw this, I'm out.
It's possible. Although it needs to point out that Jin pretty clearly seemed to stop time.
Yeah.
Because I don't... Either that or just the snow decided to hover in the air for no reason. I think it's more likely that time stopped around them. And anyway, the point of the matter is, we're introduced to Giant Naked Blue Lady!
Yep, or a fountain fairy from Zelda.
And also, can we point out that once Crow sees her and is like, oh, that's a Naked Blue Lady, he, like, diverts his eyes?
It might have also been because he didn't know about this.
It's possible, but I really do like to think that he's not as much of a womanizer as people think he is.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna stop looking. That's lewd.
Wow, what does it say when a RWBY character is against looting stuff?
I don't know. think it's a universal, like, falling apart. Anyway, she may have Barbie doll anatomy, and she's wearing some chains and stuff here and there, but that's a giant naked blue lady, and she's all like, sup, 10,000 years gives you such a crick in your neck.
I saw so many people make that joke.
It's a good joke.
It is.
It's a good reference, it makes sense, and I applaud people's creative thinking for it. And before we can actually get any more information out of them, dun dun dun,
Back to Cinder.
It's Cinder again, and she has the lady's clothing. And okay, here's the thing. Someone brought this up in the comments of our previous video, and I want to bring it up now. So here's the thing. In the intro, we now know that the hooded figure is Cinder. That's not a question, that's a fact.
Yes.
But why was she startled by what was clearly Torchwick's hat? I think, and
maybe it was just to try and make people think it's Neo. As like
it's true, yes, but why would they put that in the intro? It's going to be in every episode of the season. And why would they do that when they're going to reveal that the hooded figure is Cinder in just the second one? Out of, like, I don't know, 12, 13 episodes a season, generally?
I'm kind of hoping this could lead to maybe Torchwick coming back. I don't know, maybe...
No, Torchwick is definitely dead, and he's never coming back. He's dead as hell, and that's just how science works.
I know, but this just goes into, like, a thing I wish did happen. Like,
I know, but
what if he, like, cut his way out of the Grim?
I did see that comic. But just remember that I said this, because I'm going to bring it up again, okay? It all comes around. It circles. It rhymes. Anyway, what we do know, actually, is apparently that Cinder and her group of badniks are wanted criminals now. People know that they exist and that they're evil and they need to stop being a thing.
I mean, I think most people already knew about Adam.
Yeah, well, still. The point of the matter is, like, I don't think Mercury and Emerald can pull the, you know, harmless civilian card again.
Yeah, which...
This also, admittedly, way after the fact, totally absolves Yang of any conceivable crime that might have been considered for her in the past.
I did not even think about that.
Because now people know that Mercury is clearly evil and doing terrible things in places. So, and eventually, you know, they're gonna, like, look into files. They have pictures of them, so they must have some sort of information. It's like, oh, he hangs out with a girl who casts illusions. Bing, bang, boom.
We had, like, multiple cases of people saying, oh, they saw things that didn't happen.
Right. That's just investigative journalism right there.
And we have eyewitnesses that say this girl was around.
Exactly. Exactly. So I don't think that's even gonna ever come up. But I just found it interesting, and it just made me happy.
Yeah, it makes me happy knowing that too.
Yeah. So like anybody who's paying attention to the news, especially like anybody from like the Beacon staff who weren't completely in the know, everybody knows now.
Yeah.
Although side note, I know we're going on a lot of tangents this episode. We ever gonna see Glinda again?
I mean, if we do, she's probably gonna sound different.
Her voice actress left?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it afterwards. There was like a thing between her and Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, bad stuff happens. Maybe that's why it's been taking so long for her to... No, that might even be why she's not even around anymore. Well, that sucks.
Or in Chibi.
Oh my god, you're right. I never even thought about that. They put freaking Klein in, but not Glinda. That would make a lot of sense!
Yeah, but anyway, I'll tell you about all this afterwards.
Anyway, Cinder doesn't want to get caught. She puts on a hood. She goes into a seedy bar full of seedy people with a lot of spider tattoos. Not 100% completely sure what that's all about. But
she's looking for Spider-Man.
She is looking for the Spider-Man, and she's like...
Don't trust her, Peter.
It's true. And then she...
I don't know why I said that in my reaction as a mistake.
That's a pretty good line. Anyway, so she meets this big fat lady and throws money at her, and she's all like, it's money. What do you want to talk about? And she's like, I'm looking for these kids. And she's all like, that's interesting. I'm gonna find them.
I need to ask.
What up?
How did Cinder even know Blake was there? She couldn't have.
You are completely right.
Yeah,
and and you're right. It can't even just be, oh, she like pulled up you know, generalized pictures of the teams, because Pyrrha was specifically not included with Juniper. Which means she knows that Blake is with RWBY, and unless she was really...
Somehow.
Unless she was being completely facetious when she was talking about how she had no idea who John was. Yeah, you know what? That could be a minor flub. Either way, I don't remember this.
It's super minor, but it's just something I just say, like...
True. Now,
just to try and get a laugh.
Yeah, now I don't know who this this fat lady is. I don't remember her name.
Who is called Little Miss, by the way.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. She's an expert sass master, and is taking no guff from Cinder, and I don't know if that's because she actually thinks she isn't threatened by Cinder, or if she just doesn't understand the full implications of Cinder's abilities. Either way, I find it impressive, and I applaud it, because I don't like Cinder, and anybody giving her sass is all right in my book.
Yeah. I also want to point out she kind of sounds like Scout from Nomad of Nowhere.
That is true.
It could just be like a similar accent thing, really. I thought it was Elizabeth Maxwell voicing her, but it turns out it's not.
Crazy! Isn't that also the voice actress of Winter?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know if they would double dip with voice actors.
Probably not. She's also Ymir in Attack on Titan.
Oh, there you go. That's... Wow, talented lady. Anyway,
Yeah,
Cinder's
and
all...
she's one of the champions in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Well, then that would make her the Gerudo lady. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ah, good for her. Anyway, so Fat Purple Lady is all like, okay, fine, we'll find some fools, and like, yo, make... I was afraid of the spiders, but then the spiders work for me, and everyone has spider tattoos, so I don't know, she's like some sort of crazy, I don't know, some kind of super gang.
Kind of like Widowmaker in a way, too.
A little bit, yeah. That's why I said spider, like spiders. Because, you know, that's just kind of what you do. But,
yeah.
Cinder seemed to be at least mildly threatened by this concept, enough to the point where she didn't try to, like, cause any problems, so... I don't know, maybe it's just because she's really weak right now. Anyway, so
she doesn't want to pick a fight with, like, a massive gang of people.
Right. Well, if for no other reason, because you know what, attract attention to herself because she's a wanted fugitive right now. Yeah, okay, that makes way more sense. Anyway, so Cinder leaves and is like, give us a, because you know, Little Miss Fatsalot said, give us about a week, we'll find them. Malachite, I think, maybe. I don't know. Either way, I don't know how important this lady is going to end up being. Doesn't matter. Because one of her cronies says, yo, we already know where they are. There was that big guy asked about it. I assume Hazel.
Well, yeah.
Because he's the biggest guy we know of who would be looking for them, but that's besides the point. So they already know. And she's all like, yes, but we don't know if people are looking for her, and that might be a more lucrative business opportunity. And you know who could be looking for her?
The police.
No. Think about it.
Torchwick?
Close.
No.
Close.
Neo.
There you go.
Huh.
Because Neo more than most likely survived, and ultimately Torchwick died because of Cinder's plan.
Maybe.
So, I'm not going to say it's a guarantee, but that would explain a little bit, and like, one of my biggest things about Neo never coming back is, why would she? She doesn't really have a connection to anybody. She'd have no reason to get herself involved with anything again. She would probably be pretty pissed off at Cinder.
And RWBY.
And RWBY to a lesser extent. But the point of the matter is, I feel like it's possible, at least. You gotta give me that much.
Yeah, absolutely,
and she would.
also,
Neo would probably take Torchwick's hat.
Yeah, and actually, something I would like to see Neo do as well. Not only have Torchwick's hat, but also have Torchwick's cane.
It's totally possible. Who knows, man? Like, it could just be me overanalyzing things, but I mean, it would make sense because I mean, it's been confirmed that Torchwick is dead, unless they were lying to us.
It makes sense, and I'm into this idea.
So. And, like, there's that scene of Cinder in her cloak fighting somebody. And I don't really know how much of a... I don't know how much of a chance Neo would actually have. We never really saw the full extent of her abilities because she kind of got punked out of her fight scene. But we know she's stronger than Torchwick, obviously, at the very minimum, and she beat Yang.
After Yang had been fighting monsters all day with no sleep.
Yeah, I know, but it still has to count for something.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Neo, but give her some credit. That's still impressive.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna hold it too much against Yang.
Fair enough, fair enough. Either way, that's my theory, and I don't think this means... Just get out of the way. If it is Neo who is looking for Cinder to try to get revenge, because we don't know the full extent of Torchwick and Neo's relationship, but they clearly cared about each other.
Yeah.
Enough that I don't think revenge would be an unlikely possibility. It's just, if it does happen, I'm not saying that, like, that means, oh, Neo's gonna become a good guy. I think she's just a bad person who is not happy with a different bad person. So I just want to get that clear, because usually people always seem to interpret when a villain starts fighting a different villain that means that the lesser villain is a good guy now. I don't think that's happening. At absolute most, I could see an enemy mine situation where she'll maybe like temporarily work with them for the purposes of getting to Cinder. If any of this is true, of course.
Yeah, like a whole... Look, we both hate this person. Let's just put everything against each other aside until this person's like
temporary truce. Yeah, temporary truce.
Yeah, temporary truce.
When she's gone, we can go back to hating each other. Bada bing.
Yeah.
Assuming that's what this is actually going with. I could be completely wrong. We shall see.
Yeah, who knows? And I think they did confirm that Neo has a voice actor at some point.
They did, so I don't know. We'll see.
And
anyway,
apparently they did say she is still alive.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed as much.
We didn't see her die on screen.
And that's the thing, because, okay, here's the thing. With every confirmed death on this show, we saw the person die. The closest to not seeing them die was Lionheart, but we heard him get his neck broken.
Well, there's also a couple other characters, like the woman Cinder definitely killed, and...
True, I meant, like, major characters, or even major side characters. Like, we saw Torchwick get eaten, we saw Penny get cut in half, we saw Pyrrha get incinerated. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Which is why I was so certain Cinder wasn't dead, because at this point we've established that they're willing to get more violent with how characters are going out. And, you know, just because, you know, the former leader of the White Fang got impaled. So it's like, if Cinder did die, we would have saw her die.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been safe, and I feel like that retroactively counts to Neo, too. So, we'll see. That's my theory. We'll see what happens.
Plus, if Cinder did die, wouldn't, like, Emerald or Ruby have become the full maiden right away?
Definitely.
Yeah, so...
I mean, granted, admittedly, we don't know how fast the transfer process of the power is. We don't know if it's instantaneous, if it, like, takes a week or something. We don't know if a giant pall of power shoots out of the person's corpse and goes into someone else. So...
I mean, that's what happened when Cinder killed Amber.
That's true. That's true. But still. It could...
But then again, that was the other half of the power.
Exactly. So, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Either way, we go back, and it's giant naked blue lady time. Old lady is there, and she's all like, I know my eyes don't work too good, but is that giant naked blue lady? And everyone's all like, yep, no, that's giant naked blue lady. And she says, yo, ask me some questions, and I'll tell you some stuff, as long as it's something that's happened and not something that hasn't happened yet. And this is important. So she can only ask you can only ask her 3 questions a century.
Yeah,
somebody
said that he used all of them up before, like, they resealed it.
Right, but that's a lie, because there are 2 questions left that can be asked. Which leaves us with the question of
who asked the first one?
Who asked the first one? At this moment, I assume it's Ozpin. Could be someone else entirely. We don't know. Because I feel like it's.
What if it was Raven?
That's actually also completely possible. And maybe, I don't know, maybe she got distrustful of Ozpin, asked Jin about it, got the same story that we're about to get now, and that's what made her decide to go against him.
Maybe. We're on to you, Rooster Teeth.
It's a lot of conjecture and jumping to conclusions, but it's not impossible. Anyway, it's also possible that it was just a straight-up villain who did it, because I feel like Jin is the is the type of character who would help, or not really even help, answer the questions of whoever the hell asked her. I don't think she's necessarily a force for good or evil.
Yeah.
I feel like that's...
Sounds about right.
I mean, that's usually how genies kind of are. And while she's not a genie, she's a Jin, and she's a, you know, a storyteller, basically. But she's basically a genie.
Yeah.
That's clearly what they were going with here.
A spiritual entity coming out of a lamp.
Yeah, what else?
Sounds like a genie.
What else are you gonna call it? Anyway, Oscar keeps trying to hold it back, but Ozpin's like, okay, no, don't do the thing. For the love of God, don't do the thing. And then Jin's all like, oh, hey, I know you. And he's like, no, you don't.
Nice to see you again, old man.
Yeah, and then, of course, this just makes people more suspicious. Crow is like, man, okay, a lot of things are going on, and this is when, you know, everyone conceivably threatens him.
Yeah.
like, he is, like, literally, like, about an inch away from Weiss's sword with that one.
Huh, like, oh, just like her sister.
Indeed. So, that's actually kind of funny in retrospect. But the point is, Crow is actually cool with it. Do whatever you think is right. I don't know what's going on either. Which is good.
Yeah.
Because, okay, I feel like if nothing else, one incredibly safe to assume situation is Crow is never going to betray Ruby or Yang.
No.
At least definitely not knowingly. If it happens inadvertently, it's because he has just as little information as they do.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Either way, there's like, all right, you can go ahead and do the thing, and Ozpin's like, no, don't do the thing. And Ruby actually asks...
And Ruby's like, I'm doing the thing.
And then she does the thing, but I really appreciate Ruby's phrasing of the question, because there were a lot of ways she could have asked this that would have gotten her not as much information. But asking asking the blanket term of, what is Ozpin keeping from us? That's going to give you a lot more information than a more specific question.
Huh, it is actually.
Like, I mean, I guess it could just be this one thing that's coming up, but, like, if it's not, I don't know, man. But either way, then Ozpin is full graham crackers. And he goes really fast. He moves super fast.
It runs right at Ruby, but just before they can reach.
But hang on, but very quickly, it's important for me to note, as he rushes forward to get to Ruby, despite the fact that, like, you know, Yang, Weiss, and Blake were able to react to, you know, Crow's movement quickly enough, they were barely able to comprehend, like, register that he was moving. It's like, ah, pull out the weapon, thing, happen! You could, like, see it in their eyes how much they're going like, holy crap. And even, like, Ruby, like, flinches in terror. So it's like, how powerful are you, anyway?
Well, there's something that me and a friend couched with Blake that could give you a decent idea.
Fair enough. Anyway, Ruby, and as it turns out, at least Weiss, Blake, Yang, and Crow are pulled into a white void. I suppose it's feasible that Ozpin and the old lady are also involved, but we haven't seen them because it doesn't matter, but...
Everyone's, like, calling out to each other. I want to...
And people immediately... Everybody starts like, ah! Shipping implications! No,
I was actually going to go into Ruby going, like, Weiss, Yang, and I was like...
But not Blake!
Are you not going to call out for Blake?
Yep. Anyway, I just wanted to point out that that's something that people were doing. They're using it as shipping implications, which is hilariously silly. Like Miles Luna, like, he tweeted about it. It's like, oh my god, never change. You
yeah, I know, fandom. I saw that.
It's like, that was funny. It's like, basically confirming that no, they were just saying names because they didn't know where they were.
Yeah.
Also, we had you.
I will admit, yes, I'm a fan of Bumblebee, and yes, Blake and Yang only calling out to each other, it did make that side of me a little happy. But I'm not using that as, like, evidence to support the ship.
Okay, thank you.
Because it's clearly not.
Okay, look, I get that people want evidence. I get that.
And that is evidence. It's just not that.
This does not count. And there are more important things going on right now.
that too. We're just about to find out something big, and oh my god, Blake's in Disney World!
She is in Disney World, which is pretty great. Yeah, pretty much. I guess I just... But also, although it's not quite yellow, that's a brick road.
Oh, yeah. I actually missed that as well.
So
also, it kind of looks like Beacon Academy.
A little bit. It's possible it might have been, I don't know, rebuilt or something over time, because obviously Ozpin has a huge connection with this place. There's also a bunch of weapons littered about all over the dang place, and they're like, here's this young lady. Her name is Salem. And everyone's all like, woo!
What?
So, I'm just going to quickly rapid fire my theory. Well, first of all...
Rapunzel?
No. Okay. First things first, and what's clearly and obvious to me... Well, first of all, this is the blonde lady in the theme song of the season. Definitely. And, here's the thing. Salem represents, like, the Wicked Witch, right? Mm-hmm. And Ozpin is basically, you know, the wizard, Oz.
Yeah.
A lot of alternate media about the Wizard of Oz interprets those two characters as having a more of a relationship before a falling out happens.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were an item.
Wouldn't surprise me if they were.
Exactly. And I feel like that's probably a safe guess or bet. And then, I don't know, whatever ends up happening is probably why Ozpin has so many trust issues, I'm guessing. The fact of the matter is, if they were in a relationship for even a brief period of time, I completely expect that.
Yeah, and actually, talking of, like, relationships and what we're about to find out, a while back I was going to do a whole video on this about, like, numerology in RWBY. Like, particularly for Volume 6, I noticed a whole bunch of, like, links to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the spiritual meaning of numbers, and, like, what the number 6 means, like, we've even seen a bunch of it, like, happen in just 2 episodes. So, as I said in the last one, 6 is also seen as, like, an unholy number, like the mark of the beast, 666, all that. Adam represents the beast, he's likely going to be a big thing this volume, so it matches up there.
Mm-hmm.
However, 6 is seen as like the number of truth / enlightenment, and now we're about to find out the truth of what was going on with Ozpin, Salem, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Everyone is going to be enlightened about everything. Your
numerology theory is holding considerable water at this point.
Yeah, and this even goes into your theory. 6 is also the number of love,
which this could fit into.
Yeah.
So who knows? We're gonna
find. It's either that, or a ship gets confirmed, or I don't know, Ren and Nora get more development like later on.
It's vague, but like it could fit into my theory, so we'll see. Anyway, that's the end of the episode. We have to wait until the next one comes out to get more information. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Salem used to be a human. I assumed as much.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't think she was always just some sort of weird monster vein lady. But
like grim god or something.
Right, but I am, obviously, seeing as how nobody was able, well, I'm sure somebody probably guessed it, but as far as I know, not a lot of people assumed that the blonde woman in the intro was human Salem, that the transformation was as extensive as it ended up being. Because they do look very different now.
Yeah. Although, I did see some people speculate it a bunch, but...
Yeah, but with as many people who watch the show as they do, somebody's going to guess correctly.
Yeah, and funny thing, I was talking to a friend about this, Salem is another way of saying, like, devil, or something, so...
Oh,
I don't know, maybe Salem's parents had high expectations for her?
It's possible. Also, here's the thing. Due to the whole, naming conventions thing, I'm about to... obviously, we're already aware of the fact that this entire situation is probably going to be freakishly tragic. But Salem witch trials... I assume you know about those?
Not really. enlighten me, which is represented in number 6.
Well, I mean, we've played
Sorry.
Town of Salem together.
Oh, yeah.
And the Salem witch trials were a real event in human history where a town of people, the town of Salem, accused women of being witches and executed them.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was an actual name for it.
Oh, yeah, that's why that game is called that.
Oh.
And it was an actual event that took place in human history. But this was back in the day where, like, all right, we're gonna strap you to a boulder and throw you into this river. If you sink and die, then that means you were human. If you fly back out, that means you're a witch. That was the line of logic people had back then.
So dumb.
Yeah. The point I'm trying to get at is, I could see something like that happening to human Salem, which might help lead to why she's some sort of weird grim god monster. I mean, that makes sense, yes.
It does. Although there's something...
I mean, she's obviously named Salem for that reason specifically. You can't tell me otherwise.
Who knows?
Either way, that's the whole episode. 'Twas a good one. I want more.
Yeah, it was.
Gimme.
Yeah.
Especially, you know what the greatest part about this episode so far is? I don't think things have gotten this real this quickly by the second episode of any other volume.
No, it has not.
Like, sure, some things have happened and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen next? But, like, this is like the kind of stuff you'd expect to be learning at the end of a volume, not the relative beginning.
Like, I've spoken to a couple of friends who haven't, like, seen all of this yet, and I've just been like, okay, all you need to know about it so far is, holy shit!
Pretty much.
And we're just on the second episode. Like, how many chapters do we have this volume? Like 12 or 14, something like that. I think it's 14.
That's possible. Who knows?
We got like 12 more chapters to go.
So, yeah, and I'm just left wondering, well, damn, what are they saving for the end of this one? I mean, if we're getting into the... I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, the Ozpin and Salem backstory is something people have been wanting to know for as long as we've known about both of them.
Yeah,
So, like,
maybe.
and they're just busting it out at the beginning of this volume, and I'm feeling good about it.
Actually, I've even seen some speculation that like they've been teasing the backstory all along for both these characters. Like,
Well, yeah.
Blake's book in Volume 1 being a bad man with two souls
Oh,
fighting for
yeah.
control over his body.
Totally.
Uh,
Absolutely. This is, again, a great way of being able to establish that, may he rest in peace, Monty planned at least this far ahead.
No, he planned like 10 years ahead.
Exactly. So, to the people who... Like, I'm not going to say that Rooster Teeth hasn't changed some things from the original drafts, but at the same time, it's pretty clear that it's still the story, because a lot of the things that are happening now were hinted to and alluded to in previous volumes.
Yep.
It's all connected.
Yeah, they said they're gonna stick as close to Monty's original vision as they can.
Obviously. I have no doubt of that. Anyway, I don't want to get into that whole mess. So, we'll just move past that, but...
By the way, the other thing I was gonna bring up, I think in Volume 3, Pura brought up another story about a woman in a tower.
Mm-hmm.
And what did we just find out about Salem?
She's a woman in a tower.
Exactly.
Which would probably explain why Ozpin asked what's your favorite fairy tale, and when Pura listed off a bunch of them, I'm pretty sure that if you looked deeply enough, they literally all connect. They're probably all relevant. Because Ozpin said, well, what if I told you at least one of them was true? I'm like, well, okay, well, what if all of them are? I mean, fairy tales are all based off something.
Yep.
You just have to add enough time, and anything can become a story.
So true.
Alright, so, I think it's safe to say we both enjoyed the episode.
Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Looking forward to the next one.
Oh,
Anything-
hell yes.
Anything?
Speaking of the next one,
Yeah, anything you want to say about the next time that you saw?
preview.
Do I remember you correctly in you saying that it was something good?
I don't think I actually said anything about it.
Then I dreamt that. Cool. Awesome. What was the preview?
Okay, so we're going right back into the going into Salem stuff. Basically, Salem was locked in a tower by her father.
Fair enough. Fathers have historically been really terrible in this show, except for Tai Yang.
And Gira.
Yeah, okay. I'll call him good. But anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Anyway, so that's going on, and turns out Salem was alive at a point where magic was like given to people by gods.
Makes sense.
And she holds out her hand, and magic!
Magic!
Like 4 magic orbs like circle around her hand.
Oh.
Kind of similar to like how Weiss does with her glyphs.
But not as cool because she's not Weiss.
Yeah, and nice. Anyway, I've actually seen some people say, oh, she kind of parallels Weiss because, you know, like the thing with her dad, doing that with her hand, like Weiss does with a glyph.
I mean, I'm not going to say the parallels aren't there. But, I mean, if people are implying that Weiss is going to become some sort of evil super god, then
that's not happening.
Then I'm going to have to say, no, bad, and I hit you with a newspaper.
He'll do it.
I will. I've done more for less. So is that basically all that was?
That's what I can remember, yeah.
Okay. We're going to be learning a lot in the next one.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pretty beefy discussion, I feel. Anything else you want to say before we close off? Going once. Going twice.
Honestly, the only other things I can bring up would be off topic, and I think we've gone off topic enough.
We've gone off topic more than enough, and we've reached our quota of an hour long. So I think now is a good time to say, Avita, say goodnight. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time. Farewell.
Bye.